Yo, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. And if you missed my video last week, remember talking about food and how to take your fish properly, go back, either one, down in the description, there's a link to my last video, or go back, you'll see my video on lipids, your fats, carbohydrates, and actually protein. Watch that video before you watch today's video, because we're not talking about protein sources. That's the side. What we're talking about is vitamins. But first things first, if you didn't see my video last week, I want to emphasize to maintain a healthy, adequate life for a fish, protein is probably the biggest source of energy, right? Energy helps for digestion, energy helps for their growth, energy helps for vitality in actually the fish itself. So you don't not feeding your fish properly and proper protein, guess what? That's because they're not getting enough protein. So think about this. Carbohydrates and protein have 4 grams per calories, and lipids, your fats, have 9 grams per calorie. So think about that. Proteins being the biggest source, carbohydrates being the second biggest source, and obviously lipids, your fats, being the third biggest source for the health of our fish behind me and these monster fish. But today we're going to talk about, again, about vitamins. So there's 2 things we talk about in a fish keeping hobby we don't talk about is vitamins and minerals. Vitamins come in water soluble and non-water soluble, which is your vitamin B12, B6, water soluble vitamins. Most often, if you're in a closed circuit environment like these fish are in right here in my aquarium, they're not getting enough vitamins. Most of the time in the wild, what they get vitamins from the soil, they get vitamins from plants that grow in the soil, they get that inside their body. How they absorb the body is through their gills, and how they absorb it is through actually the whole body of physiology of the fish itself. So what needs to be done is that every time we have a fish, we got to feed them additional vitamins if we're not already having it in a closed circuit environment. So what you want to do is buy yourself some Vital Chem to put actually in your fish. You can put in your food, you can put it in the tank yourself, but I recommend dose it in your food itself and stir it up and feed it to your fish to give them that vitamins they want. Now let's talk about when they're low on vitamins. So when they're low on vitamins, what tends to happen is the color tends to fade. 2, they can get scoliosis like you would see in human beings, is because they're low on vitamins and minerals. So if you see your fish fading in color, you see their growth is kind of slow, you see something's happening, first check your protein, second check your vitamins, because maybe they're missing something that's really important for them. Now let's talk about minerals. How do they get minerals into the water itself? Now, most of the time the minerals are found in a non-closed circuit environment like my fish aquarium here, where you actually can get the minerals from the tank. Most oftentimes we have to add minerals to our water, especially if your water quality is not that good. So if you have poor water quality, be it you're on a well system or just you're on a public system, check the minerals in your water, because that can affect the growth of your fish. So those are 2 things I want you to think about. Adding minerals to your water, vitamins obviously to the fish food itself, so that way they can grow strong and healthy. Not doing that, they're lacking an important nutrient. Now let's talk about minerals again. Minerals come in 2 forms, macro minerals and micro minerals. Macro minerals are usually a higher range of obviously minerals they absorb through the gill plates and through their actual body itself. Micro minerals is the one they absorb less in their body. But either way, you have to add it to any environment. So if you're at home having an aquarium, like I do here, they're going to be lacking vitamins and minerals. So dose it with Vitacam, dose it here. And if you need to, check your water quality so that way your fish can grow out. So thank you for listening to my number 2 video about health of fish. Next week, I'll talk about water changes and feeding schedules, because those are important for any fish. Water changes and feeding schedules. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment and share. And I'll see you next week.